This is Cody from Cody's Bait and Tackle, Warsaw, Missouri. Gonna give a little bit of a fishing report here. It's the end of July. We're finally getting some rain we needed really bad. Everything with the fishing is changing pretty much. They are starting to run a little bit of water again. Hasn't been a whole lot of people fishing below the dam. There's been some short crappie caught in the dead water. Not a lot going on down there still. Few catfish when they're running water. Just a couple of people fishing though. It's been pretty dead down there. Fuel prices are hurting everything. Not a lot of people traveling to come fishing without the fishing being good. So as far as Ozarks, it's pretty well dead on this upper end. You get down 30 miles down, you can catch a lot of catfish drift fishing still. Any of them mud flats, every day's different. Some days they'll be shallow on the shallow mud flats, some days they're on the deeper mud flats. Everything this week, water temperatures dropped big time. On the main lake of Truman, I had about a 5-6 degree water temperature drop. I heard the upper end has dropped 10 degrees with the rain. That's a giant temperature drop for July. That's going to mess up that bite a little bit. They've still been catching some pretty good catfish on that upper end. There's drift fishing and anchor fishing up there. Cut shad, cut bait. As far as the crappie up on the upper end, I still have not heard anything at all. It is pretty slow. All the crappie fishing's been from the mid-lake down, like Bucksaw down, Berry Bend area down. Did hear some crappie getting caught pretty good on the palmy, big palmy arm, around 83 Bridge finally. Usually this time of year it starts picking up and getting pretty good. Osage Bluff area has been pretty good for crappie. White bass, man, they're here, there, and everywhere. They come up, go down just as fast as they come up. I pulled up on a school yesterday, got a topwater rod out. First cast, I had one, then they's gone. Never seen them again. That's kind of the way it's been. If you're close enough, you can get to them. You can get one or two fish caught out of them, and then they're gone. And I never seen a whole lot of topwater activity this week with them. I think there's just so many little shad. They're staying down deeper and feeding out deeper. They're not pushing up to the top. There's a couple days I heard of an evening there was some come up here and there. Just nothing consistent at all. Not enough to go target them. Walleye have slowed way down. I have not heard of anybody doing much good this week on them. A couple of guys have been trying. They didn't have any luck. Maybe pick up one or two, and that was it in this last week. That water temperature drop's kind of moving everything, moving all the fish around again. So, but we needed it. We needed the water running again, and they're still trying to hold Truman right there at 7:04.2. A little bit of rain's coming in. They're running right on out through the dam, so I don't know how long it'll last. We got quite a bit more rain coming in today, so later today, hopefully we get a little bit more to go in Truman. A lot of it's hitting north of us and going in the Missouri and Mississippi, and not quite where we need it to, but it'll help out some. Muddy that water up just a hair, help them spookish fish. That might help them white bass stay up longer and the hybrids stay up longer. Hybrids have been very hit and miss this week too. Yesterday was really rough. All the hybrids we caught yesterday was 25 foot down in 30 foot of water. Where I had been catching them up close to the surface yesterday, we couldn't find anything close to the surface. All of them was down deep. Catfish was right there with him. All the catfish I'd been catching up shallow was gone. They was all running 20 to 25 foot deep yesterday. We did catch quite a few blue cat, a lot of channel cat we turned loose. All on live shad. Didn't really see too many people catfishing the main lake this week. Them catfish are just piled up on the main lake of Truman. If you're set up to drift fish, Santee Cooper rig, peg float that bait up off the bottom. Early of the morning especially is when they're really schooled up good. Hit any of them ledges where you got a mud flat that starts to drop off, or just where there's dips on a mud flat. There's just catfish piled in there. Just tons of them. That's about it on the catfish. Just fresh cut shad is your best. There is a lot of oxygen in the water. Like I said, I was catching hybrids 25 foot deep. We had a lot of wind early this week. It put a lot of oxygen back in the water. That's partially what helped let them fish go down deeper, I believe. The crappie on the main lake, I've still been hearing right off the tree rows and that 16 foot of water or less. I'm sure some of them moved down with all the rest of the fish this week. A lot of the bait pushed down to 20 foot of water. There was just massive schools of shad all over at 20 foot the last 2 days. There's still some shallow shad. I still managed to catch all my bait in less than 10 foot of water, so they wasn't out swimming my net. That's about it. I ain't got much else for this week. Haven't heard nothing on bass. I did hear there was a tournament last weekend. There was a lot of suspended fish. People were saying they was seeing on the graph. Them are really hard to catch. A lot of them was trying to flip around some of the brush out on them deeper points and deeper mud flats, 15 to 20 foot of water. They was catching some largemouth in that pattern, just a lot of big worm, power worms, a lot of 10-inch stuff and 12-inch stuff was what they was buying, brush hogs, stuff that they could flip and jig. Haven't heard anything on bass on topwater for about 2 or 3 weeks now, which normally by now they're picking up some. Haven't heard of it, so I'm sure it's happening somewhere, but not anybody that's coming in the shops talking about it. So all that's been pretty slow. I'll be out of town this next week. My boat went down on me. Power tilt and trim went out. I got Dustin Burrows up at Truman Lake Marine trying to get that taken care of for me, get it back on the water. Good time to take a vacation. Well, I appreciate it, y'all. Phone number at the bait shop is 660-723-5115 if you need anything. I am currently booked way out on trips. I've got a couple other guys I can recommend for catfish. There's a lot of good guides on the lake. A lot of guys that are going to put you on fish or try their hardest to put you on fish. Right now with everything changing and inconsistent, it's a little bit iffy. But I'm booked out till pretty much the end of November. I don't have any weekdays or weekend days open till next year. Next year's booking up really fast on me. So if you want something, you want to go out on a guide trip with me, you need to get in and get it booked for next year right now. So there's a few weekdays left in November and December, but overall this year's completely booked up. I appreciate it, y'all. Thank you. Bye.